Welcome to the Mind Body Business Show. The 3 keys to your success is just moments away. Here's your host, Brian Kelly.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mind Body Business Show. We have a very, very special edition for you tonight. I cannot wait. I have not just one, not just two, but 4 individuals to introduce you to over the course of this wonderful evening. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to open it up to Q&A. So get ready, get your questions out. And what I want to do is jump right in and introduce you to my wonderful co-host. We'll call him our guest expert. Is Jason Nast. He's a dear, dear friend of mine, and I can't wait to bring him on again. I had him on one of my very first shows dating back about a year ago, and very excited to have him back. So let's just bring him on, shall we? Here we go.
It's time for the Guest Expert Spotlight. Savvy, skillful, professional, adept, trained, big league, qualified.
And there he is, ladies and gentlemen. The
one,
the only, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Jason Nast himself. How you doing, Jason?
Can I brag for a second?
You may brag. Brag away, buddy.
I was going to say, not only one of your early guests, which I am privileged and honored to be one of your first guests, that really makes me excited, but also the #1 streaming guest on Roku and Prime. That's the key right there. #1 show.
I love it. We're diving right into it. Yes, Roku. We're going to talk about that tonight. Because tonight is all about automating your business, and we can't wait for all of you that are watching live to enter your questions. And hey, if you want to join us, I will put up a link in a moment. And if you have a question that you'd like to ask live on camera and join us here, get some, free exposure. If you're an entrepreneur who can back away from that, then go ahead and let us know in the chat, whatever you're watching on. It could be YouTube, it could be Facebook, Periscope. We're streaming live to over 9 platforms simultaneously as we speak. And I wanted to just quickly introduce this gentleman to my left, to your right as you're watching. Jason Nast is a dear, dear friend of mine, as I mentioned in the beginning. He's a serial entrepreneur. I met him, it's been, 10 years ago or so. Oh, yeah. And we ended up getting to know each other very, very well, very quickly. It was one of those quick connections. And he quickly became one of those guys that was the most positive person I had met in my life. I mean, I was like, all this stuff was happening that would frazzle me. And he's just going through it with a big old smile on his face. And I learned to model that behavior. And because of Jason, my mindset started to improve greatly. And his heart is bigger than anyone's I've ever met. He will help anybody. For any reason, and he does it without expecting anything in return. He's one of those wonderful golden people, and I just wanted to, introduce him on a personal level. His accolades are wide and varied. I'll let him bring some of those up as far as business goes. He's got so much experience. It's mind-boggling. It's awesome. But I just wanted to let you all know this is a wonderful human being, and I am so proud to call you my friend, my buddy.
I appreciate that, and you as well, Brian. It's been an honor and a pleasure to be not only a business associate and work together and to support each other, but also just to call you a friend. And it is truly my honor and pleasure just to be able to call you a friend. Thank you so much for that.
Man, this is awesome. We're getting all gushy here already. Hey, we already have Mr. Anthony Gary chiming in. You are #1. I will gain on you. Yes, you certainly will, Anthony. Anthony is another dear friend, and both Jason and I know him. Anthony's another incredibly heart-centered individual. Thanks for coming on, Anthony. Hey, Anthony, I'm going to shoot you a link. You should come on and join us pretty soon here. I'm going to put it up on the screen a little bit.
Talk about serendipity. As a matter of fact, Anthony and I are actually working together on a project with one of my clients, my marketing clients. So we're actually joined forces to help take their business to the next level. So yeah, it's a small circle.
That's beautiful, and I love that because it's not 100% all about automation to make your business work. It's also collaboration. And these are 2 gentlemen who became friends, just as we 3 have, like the 3 amigos. And interesting that we help each other out in joint venture and do things together because we have different and varying, skill sets. And so we can lean and leverage off of each other. And because of the heart in all I'll say those two other gentlemen at least. It's so easy. It's amazing. Yeah, I don't want to. He said, okay. This is fun. I love being able to put the chat comments up as we go. Oh, before we go too far, for all of you watching live, I have a special treat. Thank you, Anthony. My goodness, he's just making me gush. For all of you that watch to the end of the show, please don't let me forget this, Mr. Nast. When you watch the end of the show, you will have the opportunity to win a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort in Mexico. Compliments of this guy right here, Jason Nast, and his company, powertexting.com. It's an amazing company. I'm going to put that up on the screen real quick. And at the end, we'll give you a way to enter to win, and you'll be utilizing his technology that he has developed, he and his partner, Rhonda, and it's amazing stuff. So stay to the end. All right. Back to the regular programming. On Power, let's just take a moment. Powertexting.com. We're going to be talking about business automation and love to hear everyone's questions. If you don't want to come on camera, that's fine. Go ahead and put them in the chat. We're going to bring on a couple of wonderful individuals who are sitting off in the green room as we speak. Scott Schilling and Brigitta Hoeferle, two amazing individuals. We will bring them on and have a chat with them very soon. But bring your comments in. What questions do you have concerning business automation? Go ahead and bring it on. But on that note, powertexting.com is a phenomenal automation tool. It is one of the automation tools in my tool belt that I use. In fact, I use it for this show to announce it coming up. If you would briefly just give a few high-level features of this tool, because it's different than most platforms out there when it comes to texting people.
Well, the concept of power texting was developed with the idea. I'm first little short background. I'm a 35-year marketer. I've literally marketed in every arena that there is, from TV, film, commercials, radio, print, TV, billboard, online, offline. I've done it all, including back in the day, we built massive email lists, and it was great. You made tons of money and got lots of content to a lot of people. But what ended up happening over time was the open rates became smaller and smaller, and the action rates became smaller and smaller. So what we did was we developed the automation that you would find in some really robust email platforms, and we designed a texting service that would do all of those types of automations. So things like campaigns, autoresponders, scheduling, appointment reminders, and all those fun things. So that's the real high level view of it. But just know that everything that's worked in the past in other venues, whether they be like email marketing and direct response marketing, we incorporated into power texting to make it a more powerful tool.
Fantastic. Yeah. And again, like I said, I use it not each and every day, but each and every week. And it's a phenomenal tool to get the word out faster. People do respond to it. Like texting, I hear, is the #1 responded to form of communication. Short second, from what I heard, and maybe this has changed since then, is Facebook Messenger. And then third, somewhere down in that pack is email. And so,
yeah, we're going to get at a 97% open rate. And from that open rate, we're getting between a 37 and a 76% action rate. And the reason that's such a wide action rate is because sometimes you send the same information 2 or 3 times over a week, and they'll only click on it once. They're not going to click on it 3 times individually. So, but yeah, it's a phenomenal tool, and it's instant reply. That's what I like about it. That's what made me happy. You know, in this day and age, we want instant gratification, instant satisfaction. And we know if the campaign works within 20 minutes, we know based on the results that we get through click-throughs and things like that.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. There's analytics involved there. You can use his platform to literally send a text to someone as if you were on your own phone, but you're sending it from his platform. I've used that many times myself. In fact, you're going to all get to experience it at the end of the show when we offer the live or the contest, the giveaway of a vacation in Mexico, a vacation stay. And that is using power texting. So that's a great way to start things off with that kind of automation. Thanks. There's a young lady that's in the wings right now, Brigitta Hoeferle, who coined me the automation master. And, you know, I just said, I'm going to run with that. I love that. It sounds kind of self-praising and all that, but you know what? I like it. So that's what we're going with. I love automation. I thrive on it. It comes easy to me, and many people told me, how do you do that? And I said, what do you mean? It's easy, and it's not easy to everybody. The point is not to say Brian's awesome. The point is to say what you have as experience, what you have as talents, not everybody has, and you may sell yourself short. That's what I was doing for years. I didn't realize everyone else wasn't doing this. I thought everyone did the same thing, and it turned out very few. And I thought, wow, there's actually a need. And so went down that path. And that's why we're on tonight. Many things we can discuss on automation. And we're getting some comments and questions coming in. Yeah, Anthony said, I know you're using these tools to get this show automated and broadcast on multiple platforms. How can I use automation to grow an online store? Ooh, grow an online store. Well, there's many ways to do that. I know Mr. Nast has himself gone down this path specifically. Like we're talking Shopify, I believe it was.
Yeah.
What do you have for Anthony on that?
Well, we actually did. I ran several Shopify stores and actually did a lot of Shopify training back in the day a few years ago. And mostly what we were working on at that time was drop ship products. We were shipping, basically taking an order and then ordering it from another company, having them directly send it to the customer. One of the things that we incorporated in, and this is where you're going to piggyback on several different technologies, is where you would actually send out text reminders to people. Text is the fastest, most efficient way to get people to click and do things, but it's not the end all be all de facto. It's not like you don't have to do anything else. So we would send text messages out when we would launch a new product, and that would get us very fast sales on products that we were launching new. That way, when we did advertising on Facebook or even through Facebook Messenger or chat bots and things like that, when people would arrive at the site, they would see that other people had already purchased. Nobody wants to be the first one to do anything. So in the automation processes, every time we would launch a new product, we would trigger basically a text message that would go out to our current clientele. Anybody who buys from you the first time, it's much easier to sell somebody or to get somebody to purchase again from you than it is to go acquire a new customer. So we would use automation services like that. And then, of course, once they bought, we would put it into the shipping system. They would get a text message to remind them, hey, there's, the ship's gone out now. Here's your tracking number. So a lot of those pieces were incorporated in the automation as well, which prevented, sometimes when you're doing drop shipping, it takes 3 weeks, sometimes 21 days, 24 days to get somebody a product. So rather than having them jump on customer service, calling you, emailing you, chatting with you, trying to say, hey, where's my product? When you're updating them constantly via text and email, it's a way of letting them know what's going on. So you're cutting them off before they start to ask questions, basically, before they get concerns.
Yeah, and there's so many different things that can be done. Since it's an online system, there you can use Zapier to attach a lot of different services for one. You can use contests, viral campaigns using something like UpViral, where you can offer a free gift, make it so it's something it doesn't cost anything to you or very little, so that you can give, but make it high value, like a very valuable ebook with some secret that no one knows about, or maybe free software that you have access to give away. That's really of high value. Anything like that, and create a contest and have people push out this the word. And to do that, they would then post things automatically by clicking buttons about your product to get up on that leaderboard in the contest, etc. There's a lot when it comes to marketing. Oh my,
so many good things.
That is wide net. Yes, you can.
Give you a quick example. So this is actually great. So one of the things that I like to do, I am quote a funnel hacker. I like to go in and find other people's products, find out what they're doing, and then go through the funnel and figure things out, like understand how they're doing things. So I'm going to give a free plug for, I don't make anything off this. There's no affiliate or anything like this, but it's a great product and a great thing to happen. So there's this thing out there called Easy Kebab. And it's a crazy thing, but basically what it is you just take large quantities of meat, shove it in this tube, and you squish it out the other end, and it creates a meat stick. Call it a sausage, call it a hot dog, call it whatever you want. You can mix all kinds of meats together and cheeses and stuff. It's really cool. And I got targeted on this because I like all these things and I save these different ads. Well, I got targeted on. I started thinking, this is great. I have a big background in As Seen on TV, and this is not an As Seen on TV product, but it's a perfect As Seen on TV product. So I went ahead and ordered it because I wanted to go through the process. I wanted to see the funnel. I wanted to see what the upsells were, what the cross sells were, what the bumps were. So I did this, and I was unimpressed with their cross sales. They did offer me like some kebab sticks that were like ridiculously overpriced. And I was like, no, I'll just take the kebab. So I get the kebab in the mail, and here's where the automation started. It was brilliant. So first, they're sending me emails saying, hey, I hope you got it. About a week later, they sent me one saying, we'd really love to hear your feedback. Just email us if you loved it. Have you tried it yet? What do you think? So, you email them back. Hey, I thought it was great. It was a little fun and a little bit of mess, whatever. Well, that automation kept happening, and they kept saying, hey, would you mind clicking on this link and going to our website and leaving a little testimonial there? And if you do, we'll send you another one for free. I'm like, oh, okay. So I did. And I went and left the thing. And then like 3 days later, they're like, hey, this is phenomenal. Thank you so much. By the way, if you wouldn't mind, if you buy one on Amazon and then leave a review, you just copy and paste the review you did already. If you do that, we'll send you a full refund and $5 for your trouble. So like what happened is they got one sale out of me. But on record, they got 3 verified sales, and they got 1 email testimonial and 2 online testimonials from me. And that whole process was automated. There was nothing human about it, but it was very well done. And I was impressed by that. I was like, okay, it's a $19 product, but they did a great job of marketing and remarketing and retargeting me.
That's the genius of automation. I love it. It's a perfect example of similar to a viral campaign by getting testimonials, by getting third-party objective reviews. I mean, that's just genius. So we'll pay you back. There's so many things you can do with that. It just goes on and on. One of the keys I found to all automation is having, and I call this like the baseline, the foundation of all automations that I personally do. I use something called Peak Connector, and full disclosure, Peak Connector is a white label version of ActiveCampaign. And those that enroll and use Peak Connector, it's the same exact thing, the same exact pricing. You just get additional support in that you get my support in addition to ActiveCampaign. So it's even better. And what I'm going to do in a moment is put up a link where you can get all the automations, my go-to automations that I personally use, that I run every single day, as Jason was saying, automatically without me intervening. And Peak Connector is the number one, because what he was talking about, where you're getting messages, that would be something like Peak Connector, sending those emails and text messages and anything that you can get in front of their face on a good regular basis. And it's got a lot of smarts built in and logic. And so that's absolutely crucial. If you have anything where you're scheduling, if you need to schedule like this live show, like I did with Jason, like I did with Brigitta, like I have done with Scott Schilling, who's coming on in just a moment as well, then I use something called 10-8. Many of you have heard of Calendly. There's quite a few out there. I tested a fairly good number of what existed, and 10-8 rose to the top really quickly, and they're continuing to improve. It's not often talked about or mentioned, but it's fully integratable with Thrive or with Zapier, which is the other real crucial component. It's the glue that pulls all of the pieces together. And yeah, it takes some getting used to. It takes some know-how, but with the right guidance, you can put together a pretty whiz-bang automation. Tonight, this show was announced, 10 times. Multiple Facebook pages, Facebook groups, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Tumblr, Twitter. I'm probably forgetting one or two. Twice. It did it yesterday, and it did it 1 hour before the show. Automatically. I have it all set up to go ahead of time, and that was running based on the appointment that was set by Jason in 10-8. Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. And so I take that and other data that comes through because of Peak Connector's data, where I can, drop in like his name and things like that go out in the notification sequences. And all of these, so there's more. There's one more called Sonics. I'll just go through those real quick. Oh, there's another one called ThriveCart before that, a shopping cart software that is, my goodness, I have looked high and low for, I wasn't looking for a shopping cart. I was looking for an affiliate program that would run affiliate-based marketing. So if you want to talk about automation, like what Jason was talking about with the viral campaigns. Another way is through affiliate programs. Get it by referral, and it's all electronic. People can share a link to your product, and you give them a percentage of thank you for the price that was paid, and you get to choose all that. And that's where I found ThriveCart, and then ThriveCart just blew my mind with everything that they do, the support. It's a shopping cart, and so you can accept payment through PayPal, Stripe. There's others, and it's very flexible, incredible. They've tested the bejeebers out of it, I like to say, and their support is impeccable. They're from New Zealand, and they're almost instant support all the time. And then there's something called Sonics, and that's where I upload my live shows. I have to record them on video. I upload them to this thing called Sonics. Thank you, Tom Antion, for bringing that to my attention. And it automatically transcribes the entire show, a 1 hour show. And now I can repurpose that. But that's, again, automatic. Upload it, it does the work. You just sit back and wait till it's done. So for all of these wonderful goodies and tools, you can see where all those come from by just going to this website. There's nothing, I'm not selling anything. I will give you heads up that some of those have affiliate links embedded, my affiliate links. You'll pay no more than usual. Not all of them even include an affiliate program. But if you go there, ryp.im/automation, and just enter your information there, you'll get an automated email. Go figure that one, automated. And you'll get a list of all of these tools I just talked about with a link, a short description. You can go straight to them and check them out. As our gift to you. Anything to add real quick, Jason, before I bring Scott on? I blabbed quite a while there.
Yeah, just real quick. One of the things you're talking about here is Peak Connector and Zapier and other things. Well, Peak Connector is kind of, you talked about Zapier being the glue that brings everything together. Really, the way I look at it is Peak Connector is kind of the bulk, and that's really what's handling the hard work. And what you're doing is basically attaching a little rope and pulling things in with Zapier. So, I can't stress enough. And Brian's real super modest about, well, it's actually this and it's a white label that and all that stuff. The reality of it is, though, whether you're getting Active Campaign, which, by the way, is a phenomenal tool, or you're buying it with the brand name of Peak Connector, there is a difference. There's a huge difference. And the biggest difference is this guy right here, is that because not only does he have Peak Connector, but he also is going to help you pull these pieces together. And that's the one thing that I'll tell you, as far as an automation guy goes, I'm not Brian. I am horrible at it, but I have the idea, the great concept of it. And then what I do, like my relationship with Anthony Gary, I don't know how to do the stuff he does really well. So I go to him for that piece of it. And the power techs, I have a developer that does that side of it. I tell him what I want, he does it. And Brian's that guy for you. So Peak Connector is really, if I had to choose one thing to really latch into, that's where I would be focusing my automation effort right there to start off with.
Yeah, and it is the foundation. It's the cornerstone of all automation that I do is Peak Connector. And Zapier, like you appropriately said, it's that thing that ties all the pieces together, where if you look at Peak Connector being in the center, and then there's all these other tools around it that are feeding in and out of it and moving it, feeding each other through Zapier as well. It's an amazing system. What I want to do is we got two people very, very patiently waiting to come on and share their wisdom, maybe have a question or two themselves. I'm going to bring them up in the order they came on. Sorry, I know ladies first is always the way, but I'll bring Brigitta on very soon afterward. She's awesome. We can see her at the moment. You can't. But Scott Schilling, are you ready, my brother? Are you ready for me to bring you on? Give me a big nod. There we go. Here we come. Ladies and gentlemen, please meet Scott Schilling.
Hey, awesome. I kind of like this, being in the green room, being able to watch this and take notes and do all that kind of good stuff. Now I got to work.
Hey, how you doing, Scott? Long time no see.
Yeah, really. It's been forever.
So Scott, man, we met, it's been about 2 months ago, somewhere around there in Las Vegas, at a wonderful, amazing event called BankaCon. And that's Brigitta was there. She was the MC. Did a phenomenal job. I'm saying all this so she doesn't blush on camera. She's coming on in just a moment. She's an amazing woman, has an amazing family in her own right. And Scott, you really intrigued me with projects you have going on in the entrepreneurial space, something akin to think about for those of you that have seen Shark Tank on television. Think about watching that on your computer or your phone or device and being able to interact as if you were possibly one of the sharks, either invest or buy the product or there's other variations, but it's genius concept. And I know you've gone through an entire season already of filming. I think you have Forbes Riley and the other gentleman,
Kevin Harrington.
Yeah, Harrington, both of whom
the original shark.
I was introduced by Mr. Jason Nast to both of those people. They're amazing powerhouses in the direct marketing and direct selling arena. So that's phenomenal. But when it comes to automation, Mr. Schilling, what kind of things come up into your head? What questions would you like to have answered? Not saying that Jason or I have the answer for you, but we could banter it about and see if anyone watching does as well.
Well, I think it's fabulous to just everything that you guys have put together here. And quite frankly, Brian, since you and I started talking and we spent some time together and actually did a video meeting together, you gave me so many great ideas for what we're doing with the show, for what we're doing with prospecting potential companies to come on the show, prospecting potential investors to invest in the companies that come on the show. You just really opened my eyes to so many more choices, I think is the best way to see it. Even, the new platform we're on here tonight. So is there I guess one of the things is there a basic place to start I'm going to say I'm asking this for everybody else out there, but I might use a little bit of it myself. Is there a basic place to start with the automation, and what are kind of the bare essentials? And then let's go from there.
Yeah, sure. First of all, what I do is I take individual through an interview process because I must know the need. What is the need? What do you have in place today? What is your business model? What's your marketing right now? Because every single business is unique. So there's no like one catch-all answer, but like Jason and I were saying at the onset, is Peak Connector is absolutely, that could be used in any business and every business and should be, in my personal opinion. I've used many different similar services, and this one just leapfrogged past many of the much older services that have been around a lot longer. So Peak Connector, for me personally, is the holy grail of all starting of automation for sure, because you can integrate it with your websites, have opt-in forms. You can integrate it with actual forms like Wufoo. It's an online form that you can embed in your website, ask questions, and have all that feed into your Peak Connector and use that data for your decision making in an automated fashion. So how are they answered? I have, for instance, you filled out that form earlier, Scott, and there was actually one question in that form. You didn't know this. There was one question in that form that, based on your answer, would take you either to page A or page B when you were finished. And you had no idea that was going to happen, and you still don't. Well, until you do now. But
what question it was?
Yeah, pull back the curtain. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I will if you want. I was looking for ways to monetize the show, and
tell everybody they'll know what answer to pick. Just saying.
No. I know which one it is. That's all you had to do is give me that hint. I know what question it was.
All right, we're good then. Yeah, so it basically came down to, was I going to charge the guest to appear or was I not? And you did not get that email that said it's going to cost you money. So you answered that question in a way that was, by my choice, how I set up the automation, so that the result would be you do not pay. And it's working wonderfully. And look, if you're doing a show, for those of you that are out there and you're looking to monetize it and you're just starting, I would hold off. Wait until you have a good, I waited a year before I implemented that. I'm booked all the way through February of next year now on shows. That is one reason. I'm raising the bar continually, getting people like Scott Schilling, Jason Nast on this show who are extremely successful. And the more and more successful people I can bring on, the more and more they can refer me to even more like them or even more successful than themselves, which is another automation type of strategy. I could go way down the rabbit hole on this, but a short answer, already too late for that, is Peak Connector would be the start. And then definitely be prepared to bring Zapier into the mix. I wouldn't start paying money on a service until you know it's needed. But again, I would sit down with you and say, I need to know what you're doing. What does your funnel look like? And maybe offer suggestions for tweaks so that we can implement an automated system. And when you have automation, you have less room for human error. You also have quick response. You're not, again, human error. I forgot to reply. So many wonderful things. And you can send them down pre-written paths that were well thought out. You can use the bank codes, for instance, find out what their personality types are and give them one of 4 different channels to go down, depending on their personality type. Channels being of multiple emails that go out in their language and their personality type. I'll bring Brigitta on and we'll talk more about that as well. But that's really the answer. Jason, does anything else come to your mind?
Well, I want to kind of highlight a point you made, and then I realize what you're using for is to kind of differentiate between a paid client or a mutually beneficial client. But that split test, we'll call it, for lack of a better description, it really does help you target your demographic amazingly. So as you're going through, for example, in your automation using Peak Connector, I could ask the question, are you male or female? And then when you say female, now everything is addressed to her, to she, to, and that little bit will help people convert better, help people close better. This kind of goes back to Anthony's question. How do you do this automation in online retail and shopping and e-com? Well, this is a way when you're targeting somebody specific, you're not going to send men's shoes to a woman, but if they answer that I'm a woman, then you know not to target that woman for men's shoes until it comes about time for Father's Day, because that's the only time that women are buying men's shoes typically. So those things right there, I'll call it a split test, although I know it's not that way, but it's really a refining your message with your demographic. I think that's a real beneficial tool in the automation side.
Yeah, and that was a brutally simple example that I gave. Brutally simple. That was one of the easiest. There are many things.
Brian, what you guys are doing is absolutely brilliant, because one of the things that I talk about all the time as a sales trainer or a business entrepreneurial trainer is, what are your USPs? What are your unique selling propositions? And you guys are using these tools in automation to create uniqueness. I'm pretty sure this is the only show on the internet right this second. I mean, they're every, right. So many people are jumping on and doing shows and doing whatever, and they're not doing it with the quality, with the class, with the dignity that you're putting behind it. And the automation, I mean, I'd like to give you credit, but it's the recognition of using the automation that you get the credit for, right? And really using those as the differentiators for yourselves. That's why we use tools like Bank. That's why we use tools, because we want to customize our messaging in a better quality to the receiver. A novel concept. It's all about the audience. It has nothing to do with us, quite frankly.
And if I could add to that, Brian, I want to say one more thing. It's really, I think, pretty significant is that we all want to make it look so hard that nobody can do this stuff. But the reality of it is, Brian, other than the quote technical things you got to go through just before a show, we were on the line a half hour beforehand, and we're kind of bantering back and forth. We realized some little weird things were happening. We're fixing them as we go. But because you have all of this automation in place, because already the emails have gone out, the texts have gone out, the notifications have gone out. You're not sitting here 10 minutes before a show going, okay, wait, I got to share this to Facebook 72 times. I got to do that's all handled for you. So that is that. Although running a show like this, quality is not easy, it is so much easier for you today. And you're not just running one show. You said earlier, you're streaming to 9 platforms. And on top of that, you got Roku, you got Prime coming in. So like all of these things that are going on, and that's all because it's only possible because you would not have enough hours in the day or the week to do it yourself. You have to set up these automation processes so that it trims that all out for you.
I'm glad you
said very exciting that it's possible.
Yeah,
it's possible. Right? It's possible for everybody to do stuff like this with automation. Yeah.
And that came out of sheer need, and luckily having the background and ability to do it. but the need was, I'm going to burn myself out. There's no way I could do a show, and there's so many moving parts. People don't realize if you're doing a real show, like one that's planned in advance, that has a theme that you talk about, bring on high quality guests like Scott and yourself, Jason. It goes on and on. You know what? I want to bring on our next guest because
I have a question. I'm sorry. We talked to Scott about your show, but never mentioned what the show name was. So it would be cool to tell everybody else what that show is, because they might want to tune in.
Well, it's called America's Real Deal. And the one piece of automation that we use that's unique is while you're watching the show, you can think of Shark Tank meets American Idol. You can actually go to, as you're watching the show, you can hit the buy button and you can actually buy the product. Now, that's been done before. But the next part is the coolest part, and that is you can hit the invest button, and now you can crowdfund on the spot for as little as $100. You can actually own a piece of that company. And then the third is the share button, the vote button. It now sends it to the audience members' social share. So like I've got 5,000 Facebook followers. If there's 100 of me, all of a sudden it goes out to 500,000 people that weren't watching the show. So we're using our own version of automation that's never been done before.
And it's America's
Real Deal.
Real Deal. Got it. Okay. So we were missing the name of the show. I wanted to get that out there. So I'm a marketer, so I got to make sure everybody gets their little bit in there.
Well,
okay. Sorry to hijack the show, Brian. Go.
This is how Jason operates. And you do too, Scott. Both of you are very heart-centered people. And speaking of heart-centered people, and brilliant and genius and gorgeous, we're bringing on Brigitta Hoeferle. Are you ready, Brigitta?
Brigitta, yeah.
She's ready. Here she comes. Get ready.
Yeah, the screen's going to get looking better real quick.
Hey, there she is.
How you doing, Brigitta?
Hey, guys. I'm good. How are you? Gosh, it's really dark here on the East Coast. It's so good to be here. And look, I needed to be here because you needed to have at least a little bit of balance in all of this testosterone.
I know. I cut all my hair, so I don't have that feminine side going anymore.
Well, I cut my hair so I can fit in. I don't know. I guess. Whatever. It's so good to be here, Brian.
You're like a magician because you just got back from the gym, right?
Yes. Didn't I clean up well?
You cleaned up well and fast. I have to give it to you. Awesome. So Brigitta is an amazing woman. For those of you that don't know, she has an NLP. What's the name of an NLP? I like to call it an established
Institute of Atlanta.
Neuro-linguistic programming, which is a life-changing science. I'm NLP certified. I did that on the West Coast. Brigitta takes care of the East Coast, and she is an amazing, amazing talent. Her and her husband, Christian, run that together. I see him in every photo that you guys have things going on, which is awesome to have that support. And she's also one of the lead people in this company called Bank Code, I believe is the name of the company. She's always
and the number one lead trainer.
There we go. She trains this thing, and it's about identifying your personality types. We all have there are four primary personality types. One of those is your primary, and you have all three or all four of them. But when you know how to talk to her, there we are. Pick a card.
Pick a card, any card.
I was just vamping for you, Brigitta.
I love it, Scott. Thanks.
The one thing that's happening in that I love so much, is near and dear to my heart, is the advent of artificial intelligence, because that goes down the automation train like you have no idea. So she held up 4 cards, and essentially you basically hand those cards to an individual and say, sort these from the order of what you feel is most like you to the one that's least like you. Simple. And it tells you different traits. And you look at it. It takes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes, not very long. You can
not even that.
Right.
Like 90 seconds or less.
Yeah, and you can do it physical cards, or you can go online and drag and drop these cards and determine what your personality, it's crack your code, as it's called. And the cool thing is now, instead of having to go through that manual process, you can literally copy and paste someone's email to you, into this tool, and it will automatically determine all 4 in order, and it does remarkably correct. It blows my mind. And that will then be able to be automated in such a way to pull into something like Peak Connector. And now you can write not just one series of automated emails, but now 4, and just branch based off which was their primary personality type. You set this all up in advance, and then all of it will run 100% automatically in the background. And I am so excited. So I had to bring that up, Brigitta. But what kind of questions do you have, or any, if you have any, on automation for business, maybe for yours or others that you've been involved with recently?
Well, first of all, Brian, let me just bow to you, because I am not worthy to be on this call. You are truly the automation meister. Like, I have never seen anyone do anything even close to what you're doing. And it blows my mind, because quite frankly, my action brain does not understand. And the beautiful thing is, Brian, I don't have to. That's the good news for me. I don't have to, because Brian and I have been working together, and I've been following Brian ever since we met, and we immediately hit it off. And Brian, I really think you hit the moon with everything that you do, everything that you're setting up. Like, I train people to listen so their mouth can follow. So I'm training their ears so their mouth can follow. You train people in automating all of everything that they have, and put it in one holistic automation so it can go out. So that their cascade can follow. That's a beautiful thing, what you're doing and what you have. I don't have a question today. I have an automation person that I delegate to. His name is Christian. He's my husband. Everyone needs a Christian in their life. We're actually a really good power couple, and that's another award here it is, right here, that we got this summer, the Power Couple Award. And Christian is very high knowledge, and I love that he is, because he loves digging into that and just doing it and implementing it. And I do the sales on all of our businesses. But Brian, thank you. I mean, I am not worthy.
Oh, you are more than worthy. Come on, knock it off. You did such a phenomenal job. You were the MC. There was a sea of people. You were effortless and flawless. You kept people moving, getting back in the room, and you did it with such grace, such professionalism, and it just kept everything moving, flowing. You had great energy throughout. It was almost like it was your first time ever doing something like that. I'm kidding.
Oh, totally.
Total pro. And I know Scott can attest. He was there as well. And they have a gem in you and in Christian. Your whole family is rock star. Amelie, the budding actress. My goodness.
She got 2 more lead roles.
Wow.
Day before yesterday.
Oh, man.
Brian, what I really, you talked about the AI. We are the #1 personality coding technology. Like, we've invented it. The bank methodology has invented personality coding technology. And what I got the other day, an automated email that I got, I don't know if you get those, but I get them. And I was like, I wanted to click delete because it was boring and I didn't understand the thing that they're trying to sell me. So I wanted to click delete, and I was like, wait a minute. Let me just run this through the AI. And I copied it and I ran it through the AI. Well, guess what? It was heavy in knowledge. It was heavy in blueprint, didn't speak my language at all. And that's why it was like over my head and I was not interested.
There.
That's like a pretty woman moment where you go, that's stupid. You're in sales, you get commission. That's just dumb.
Right there. That's the gold. You just said it, because now we will very soon have the ability to 100% automate this process. And one thing I didn't mention, I want to bring Kent on here pretty soon. He's waiting in the wings. Love Kent Emmons. He's an amazing dude. One of the things was when this technology gets completed, as far as the automation, we're looking at Zapier, tying it in, messages like that will not miss the mark anymore, because that message will be written toward your personality type if they are implementing bank code. So the other thing I wanted to mention on that, though, real quick, is once you've copied and pasted that email in, you've got their code, you click on another tab and you type in what you think your response would be, and this AI would tell you if you're on the mark or if you've missed the mark in response. It's like unfreaking believable. So you can literally use this tool to write every single of the emails in the sequence you're going to write for that personality type and know that they're hitting the mark. Unbelievable. I'm getting goosebumps. I love this stuff. It geeks me out.
And that's why I love you, because you just geek out on stuff like that. And I'm like, it just makes my life easier, right? All I need is something that makes my life easier. And Brian, that's where you come in. And anyone that is not following your advice is an absolute, sorry for the terminology that I'm using, dummy.
Oh.
I mean, honestly.
I was scrambling for the mute button there for a minute. Luckily, I didn't have to.
Delay.
Speaking of geeking out, no, this has nothing to do with geeking out. I want to bring on another amazing person, another friend. I was just looking at the time. We can go beyond an hour if you guys are cool with it, because we have so many of you unbelievable, awesome people. But this gentleman, I met him, gosh, it's been probably 6 or 7-ish years ago. Basically shared the stage with him. I was speaking on behalf of my mentor, and he was there as a guest speaker, and we were hanging out in the back of the room, getting to know each other. And I was like, instant connection with this guy. He is, I have never seen this guy without a smile. So watch, when I bring him up, he'll probably be the first time you ever see him without one. I'm kidding. And he's an amazing dude, lives kind of nearby. I've been to his house several times, a beautiful ranch home. He's a brilliant radio and television network owner. Let's bring him on. Mr. Kent Emmons. Are you ready, my man? Looks like he's on the phone. He's doing multitasking. He needs 1 minute. I can't hear him, but he's saying something. We'll bring him on in just a moment. As soon as I see the phone. Oh, here we go. Kent Emmons, everybody.
Listen, hey, good to see you guys. I'm sorry I'm late. I was actually on the phone with the president of the Ukraine. He's finally found some dirt on Scott Schilling, and I wanted to talk about during this show if I could. I wanted to bring it to the forefront.
I appreciate that.
How are you guys?
That is just awesome.
It's taken me 10 years to find anything on Scott Schilling, and apparently it was something in kindergarten, but they haven't given up the goods yet, so I'll have to share that on the next time.
Waiting for the report, right?
That's right.
So Scott and Kent have never met.
I've got my old buddy Brian on here, Scott Schilling, who's been my man crush for 15 years, Jason,
new friend, hey, how you doing?
God, and Brigitta, who you had me speechless watching you during that seminar in Las Vegas. That was amazing. That was one of the greatest, it really was one of the greatest experiences of my life. What you guys have got going on with that is just off the hook.
I agree. Yeah, thank you for that.
And it's in large part due to Brigitta and her tireless efforts. She's going all over the country training corporations in bank code and just changing lives, changing the world one business at a time. And you know, she's a force to be reckoned with because she is a go-getter. She said action. There should be like an action squared. That's her. That's 2 reds, red squared.
I got to worry. It's a whole panel of reds, and you know, she and Sherry and Esther. I mean, you talk about a team, and then the guests that you had in and the experts you had in, and that was a real powerhouse of people. And I've been to a lot of events and things like that, but that was a real powerhouse with it was no letting up. It was several days of just absolute quality, which you never get, except at Scott Schilling's events. Those are always absolute.
Thank you.
Why
How
we
perceptive of you to know
right in.
You know, I saw that this big show of roasting came back. I didn't know that that's what we started here. This is pretty fun. Kent Emmons, the roast master. I love it.
You do realize if we get 4 more guests, we could play Hollywood Squares. I'm just saying.
Actually, you know what? It's so funny. I actually just talked to Peter Marshall a couple of days ago, who's 93 now. Yeah. He's
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's redo Hollywood Squares. It'd be awesome.
Is that funny? Yeah.
There is one more that has said he would be coming on, but let me put it up here just in case Mr. Anthony Gary wants to join us. If he's still on, I can have him come on as well. There we go. Just go to that link if you're watching, Anthony, and join us. join us. Turn on your camera. Let's see that beautiful face of yours. He's like my brother by another mother, like all the three gentlemen here, and then my sister by another mister, which is a young lady that you have there. You guys are amazing.
By another mister. That I hadn't heard that one before.
That's pretty good.
So, Kent, do you have anything in regards to business automation that is, you're curious about, or you have questions of, or you just have a topic about it that you'd like to bring up?
You're my guru. I mean, literally. I watch what you do business automation wise, and I just go, my God. I mean, you know what? You take that book, The 4-Hour Work Week, and cram it into like the 7.3 minute work week, which I love.
This is starting to look like a self-promotion show here, but I appreciate all the love you guys are giving. That was not the reason. It was for interaction, and but I appreciate you guys so much. It's so much love is oozing.
I actually have something to say. It's actually pretty cool. Is that I'm you're the automation master. I'm kind of like the text guy, and everybody comes to me for texting stuff. And when I had a meeting with Kent, he actually taught me something really cool about automation, which we are actually building into our platform as a result of our conversation, this is a great system, by the way, where you can make a phone call, and through just making a phone call, you're automatically opted into a text, and that text automatically sends out a campaign and continues on to remarket that customer. And that was all just one little tidbit of a conversation that we had, Kent, that you really spurred me on. And my developers, actually, we had a great conversation today with our provider and developer actually working on that very piece of that technology today. So,
to me, that's just, and by the way, Mike Stewart in Nashville, who I've known for like 9,000 years, Mike is who came up with that by piecing together those two elements. Yeah. And he's a brilliant marketer. He's an internet marketer over there. Actually a songwriter and producer is how I knew him from 35 years ago. But he's always on top of his game, and he came up with that, and he really changed. Where you had these, with us, especially being in the direct response biz, you always had this thing where on the radio or on television or billboard, text this to that, and who remembers that? But call this number, and then it texts you back right away. I mean, it's brilliant.
It was sheer brilliance, and I can say I appreciated that, and it's great because this is where Brian bringing all of us together like this is really a powerful thing, because we know what we know, but we don't know what we don't know. And when we have conversations with other people, I learn. I'm a lifelong learner, and I was very honored to be able to take that little chunk of knowledge, and it's going to make a huge difference in my business as a result of it. So
thank Mike Stewart for that. I'll connect you guys for that. Brian is so good. Like, he's been out here to the ranch a couple of times, and we always have so much fun and sit there and visit. And like I said, I even took him to a power lunch at In-N-Out a while back. It's a true Hollywood power lunch. But his automation is so good that I said, listen, excuse me for a moment. I'm going to get you a drink, and then I need to go to the bathroom. Now, he had only been here at the house for about an hour and a half. I went to the bathroom, and as I was getting up, this is how good his automation systems are. It said I had already wiped. So I don't know how he set that up. But I mean, it saved me like a minute and a half. I mean, the guy's a miracle.
Oh, God. Text notification and everything went well. So, right?
It went great.
Yeah, I'm going to patent.
Everything came out just great.
I'm going to patent a butt lift switch soon.
I can't wait.
Oh, my goodness. And I'll hire Jason for marketing, and then Anthony Gary for digital marketing on Facebook. We're going to bring him on. He just joined. Now we can have our checkerboard appearance. Are you ready, Anthony? Give me a thumbs up if you're ready. I can see you. I don't see a thumbs up. Well, we'll bring him on and see what happens. Let's just have some fun. Anthony Gary, everybody. How you doing there, Mr. Dark Knight?
Hey, there he is.
Oh, I don't know if he can hear us. You are on the air, Mr. Anthony Gary.
He's still looking for settings. Hey, you should talk to Brian. He can help automate that.
So Anthony is an amazing guy while he sits there without talking to us or hearing us, poor guy. But he is a digital ad agency guru. He does everything. He and his agency does everything. They do Facebook ads, website development, search engine optimization, which is really his forte. And they do some amazing things. There he is. How you doing, Anthony? We got him on.
It's buffering, so can you guys hear me clearly?
We can hear you.
He's got a little bit of a delay.
But he is a digital ad agency guru. Hey. Yeah, it sounds like he might be watching on Facebook or somewhere else.
Yeah.
This is a fabulous platform, Brian. I mean, this is a really, really innovative way of doing this.
Yeah, and there's been others that have been like this that have been out for a while, but these guys, that you're in the studio, you can see, I think, on the upper left, there's a little logo that says beta.
Right.
I mean, they're still developing this, and they're I call them the whiz kids. They're very young.
Too much hardware.
And yeah, it takes very little hardware to actually make this work. That's the beautiful thing about it. I have been using a very, very complex broadcasting tool software, and almost every time I fire it up, I'm using a green screen back here, and almost every time I fire it up, my settings get changed, and it looks wonky. But now with this platform, I can have a stable environment. Anthony's having
Brian,
fun.
I was in Facebook, and Facebook was buffering. Can you guys hear me now?
We can hear it.
Hey, I'm a talkative guy. Let me add a little bit of stuff to all you brainy people there. But I think everybody's glossing a little bit over this process and this automation, how huge it is. You guys, Brian is able to put this on a lot of platforms. And as someone who does pieces of his SEO, I'm watching his sites climb up in rankings. I'm watching his shows show up on rankings. Let me tell you guys, after you do a Brian show, do a search for your name and you'll see his show showing up there for you. That's part of the power of him getting this thing automated and hitting multiple platforms. It's an SEO thing, getting as many URLs as you can get out there, and it helps you dominate your page. It gets you a greater web presence when people are searching and researching and they see all these different pieces of you. So I think you guys are lightly glossing on that. I think on the peak connector element part of it, you guys, it's a mandatory piece when we do a lead campaign for realtors, because it gives you the data that you need to have to analyze a campaign. A lot of people do these drip email campaigns, and when I drive traffic, and when we're driving a lot of traffic and we're not seeing sales, I go to Peak Connector and I look and see, okay, where are people falling off of the funnel? What emails am I losing, folks? So I can go in there and make that adjustment and bring people back in. So again, this stuff is so powerful and so big, and it's small steps, but each of these small steps is designed to put another zero on your ROI. So you guys are going a little light on this stuff. It's huge. It's just huge.
Well, I called you my brother by another mother, not dad. Man.
And I just want you guys to know that I gave up my Thursday night football because I knew Jason and Brian were going to be on. I said, not many people can get me off the football, but you guys did.
That's what DVR is for, man. You can zip on through those commercials. But I'm glad you made it on, Anthony. This is an amazing guy. Another one that I thought we were twins separated at birth, because it's obvious. Look at the resemblance. There's no doubt. It's because of the mindset, the heart, everything. It's just like we were always lockstep, and every time we would say something, it's like, wow, I was just thinking that. One of those. And it's interesting. I've had that connection with probably nearly all of you on here right now. And it's amazing. It's a powerful 5 individuals that are on here that I'm so blessed to be friends with and to know. You guys are amazing. Kent, man, you haven't said much, and I wanted to give you a few more minutes of, let's get out of the potty talk if we can. And
what? A few more minutes of stand up from Kent.
It's funny. What is going on, Kent? Let's talk. What is your latest venture that
what? It's all network all the time. So, the studios are being built out over in Sherman Oaks Galleria, and it was, engineering meetings all day today, programming stuff. It's just crazy stuff, but I'm loving it.
And what do you have coming down the pike specifically, if you can divulge anything at this point?
Crave News, a new 24/7, 16-hour-a-day live news network, and very edgy, 18 to 34-year-old, something that's not out there right now. So something that, you take Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, these things that are kind of traditional, old part news type formats. And we're going to kind of turn it upside down and have some fun. And it's live.
Did you just put CNN in a news category?
Well, you know what I meant.
I'm just
trying to advertise.
We're in a tailspin. Here we go.
Sorry.
I love
That's a great observation, though, I got to tell you.
What's that?
Nice catch, Jason.
Fantastic.
Goodbye, right?
Man, you know what? It is so interesting that there is such a massive, huge market out there for real news. And of course, Brian, as you know, you've known about this, and Scott, you as well, about our network as it's been being planned for the last year and a half or so. A lot of big hitters, a lot of big money behind it and stuff. And the tagline that the network has adopted came from our, all the people we've met with, from the president down. And we said, what are you looking for in news? And they all said, Brian, do you want to say the tagline? You probably, assuming, right? It's real news, no bullshit. That literally is the tagline. So it is very edgy. It's very interesting. And it's something where you can actually tune in, have a great time, somewhere of a, kind of a cross between Howard Stern, Fox News, and hate to say CNN, because that's more like I don't know, it's more of a fantasy novel, but something along that line.
Yeah, so uncensored, unscripted, and raw.
Who are edgy, fun, interesting, who most news networks would never give the time of day because they're too interested in, people that are, spouting hard right, hard left stuff. Look, our news is about guys like you. It's fun, how to make more money, how to have a better life, and of course, keeping up on the headlines.
That's great. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, hey, real quick, we're at that. There's a big love from Brigitta, who has muted herself, it looks. What we'll do real quick is, as promised, give away that vacation stay. So hang with me, all of you wonderful people, for just a moment, if you would indulge me while I let our viewers know how they can win a 5-night vacation stay at a 5-star luxury resort in Mexico. And by the way, just a real quick, this is not one of those things where you show up and then you're shuffled off to a room for a 6-hour timeshare presentation. And the reason I know that is because the man in the middle, Jason Nast himself, actually tested the very gift he is giving to you. This is sponsored by his company. And took his, how many?
3.
I was unaware of that. I knew of one.
By the way, Jason, I got to tell you something. I can't thank you guys enough for that trip to Afghanistan. That was and I'm looking forward to Kabul next month. That's going to be.
Yeah, I promised you a warm vacation, right?
I loved it. I mean, I'll never forget it.
All right. Without further ado, to enter to win this 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort in Mexico, all you need to do is pull out your phone and type in the phone number 661-535-1624. And then in the message area, just punch in the word PEAK, P-E-A-K, and hit the send button. Again, that's 661-535-1624, and type in the word PEAK and hit send. This will go directly through Power Texting's system, through the account that I have, and we will choose a winner at random. So go ahead and do that now while you're on live so that we know you are watching live, and we will choose a suitable candidate and winner. Yeah. That's it for that. Thank you, Power Texting and Jason Nast, for that, and the trip to Afghanistan for Kent.
Awesome. Love it.
I did it was about a year ago now, I think it was, that I did the Mexico down in Rocky Point, Mexico, Puerto Penasco. Phenomenal, great private beach. It was amazing. But then also Vegas and Orlando at the Westgate. So good quality places. We really worked hard to build some really good partnerships on that so that we can do these types of sponsorships. So we appreciate it. So thank you.
Absolutely. And then back to the topic of automation. This is not a plug for something I'm working on, but it is something I want to make open to those that are interested, that are serious about starting their own live stream. And that is something that I have been putting together and working on, called Carpet Bomb Marketing. And what it is all the automations we've been talking about thus far and many, many more, and putting it into info product form. In other words, online training. And what I'm constantly looking for are beta testers. I have currently 6 that are signed up. I want to go up to 10. And what I want to do is make all of this training available to you. It's in work right now. It's not finished. And then have you go through the training 100% free of charge. And then in response to that, just give actual real feedback that will help improve the training product, and also then use it and then provide testimonials, real testimonials at the end. Once you've realized all of the masterfulness that you've achieved, you will then be the next automation master. Brigitta will probably hold you over me in that regard when you get through with this course. And so I just want to throw that out there. Not a pitch here at all. I'm not charging anybody any money. Just so you do know, though, all of these things that are put together to make this incredible engine work do cost money. The resources that we use, the website, Zapier, all of the P connector, they do cost money. So just know that and be ready to be committed to actually engage in that when the time comes, if you are to raise your hand. So just go ahead and message me on Facebook, or that's probably the best way to say, hey, I'm interested. I want to take a look at this and become a beta tester, see if I'm a fit. That would be very, very cool. And speaking of cool, look at these cool cats. Yes, Jason.
Well, I'm a product of that marketing. I actually, as a result of that training that I've been going through as it develops, I've invested in some really cool tools. I've got some great things that are making this broadcast much better, between microphones and sound deadeners. And I've invested in the tools, and I'm actually branding and building a brand out now for a show that we're calling The Big Insider Secrets, the same concept that you're using your automation tool. So as a product of the product, I can say this. At the moment, he's not charging anything, and it's the best investment you'll ever make in yourself. But even when he starts to charge for it, if you're looking to create some sort of a broadcast type channel and you're not personal friends with Kent Emmons, then you want to you want to invest in something to help you automate your processes, because otherwise you'll go gray.
It's only because I'm friends with Brian that any of this will not have any value.
And Brigitta is also involved in that beta test group, and she's waiting patiently along with Jason, because I am taking way longer than I ever anticipated to get this thing going. Not going, but done. Just been working feverishly on it. It's interesting because when you do something that is kind of automatic to you, then when you have to teach it or get to teach it, like that reframe, Brigitta, wow, you're like, holy smokes, I didn't realize how much, oh my God, because it was an iterative, cumulative effect. Always, I'm still to this day improving, refining, and building more automations, making current automations better. One automation that I have in just P Connector alone, they're actually called automations within P Connector, has all these little branches and boxes, and you see these logic branches, and it's just a ton of stuff, and it goes deep. I showed a gentleman this who's another digital ad agency expert who charges tens of $1,000s to his clients for his services. And I showed it to him on a Zoom call, just this one automation. And he told me, he said, Brian, that right there, that one automation is worth $15,000. I said, what? I mean, to me, I'm like, what are you talking about? This is like second nature. It took time, but really? He goes, oh my God, yes. And so with Carpet Bomb Marketing, you're not going to just get that one automation 100%. You just type in a code, hit import, and it's yours. You're going to get all of my automations, every single one of them, for free during the beta test program. And after the beta test program is over, I'm not charging you a dime for life. It's all yours to keep and use and enjoy if you need to go back to the training for any reason. So it's kind of like a pitch, but it's not, because I'm not charging you directly any money. It's just you need to be ready. Scott Schilling says, count me in. I love it. We're doing some private chatting in the back there. These kids, you just can't lasso them enough, I tell you. Any parting? Let's go around the room and give each of you one last chance. Now we're going to go back to ladies first. Brigitta.
Hey, Brian, I feel like I just take a USB stick and plug it in your ear, and I can download all of your genius and then put it in my computer. That's basically how I feel, because I'm so grateful. Thank you, A, for that our paths have crossed and continue to cross, and B, for your genius, because quite frankly, my brain goes in a genius in a whole different way, and allowing my genius to plug into your genius and create something to really serve other people and to make life easier and better. I mean, that's what I'm in it. And thank you for having your heart on the right place.
Oh, and right back at you. And your connection with your knowledge, not only in NLP, because that's people. If you have not heard of NLP or you've not actually gone to a training and learned from an NLP master like Brigitta, seek her out. And I don't care where you live in the world. It is worth whatever amount of money it takes to get your butt in her seat, in her training facility, and have your entire life change for the better. I never would have said that 7 years ago, ever. I'm not one of those woo-woo, changed my life, but my goodness, it changed mine unbelievably. And then Bank Code, where you introduced me to the right people, Brigitta, because of our wonderful friendship. And now I have an idea where things are going. I realize automation's on its way. It's become an incredible, crucial step. And as part of Carpet Bomb Marketing, I literally do some training on Bank Code within this training. That's why it's called Carpet Bomb Marketing. It's saturating the marketplace with your message. Saturating. So it will continue to grow as more and more marketing things that work show up. We've got to test them first to make sure that they're valid. And then we'll integrate it. But thank you, because you're an integral part of it. You've already contributed, Brigitta, and probably didn't even know that. Amazing, amazing woman. So look up Brigitta Hoeferle, go get trained on NLP, become a student, learn, and have your life change from the inside out. And I literally don't mean that lightly. It is absolutely a game changer. It did it for me as well. All right, Mr. Schilling, who just came on. Thank you once again, Brigitta. You're amazing. Mr. Schilling.
I want to say thank you, Brian. One of the things that I say in virtually every talk I give is, by a show of hands, how many of you don't know what you don't know? Is there a chance that somebody knows what you don't know? Is it even possible I may know what you don't know? Well, I share that for a reason, because that's, Jason said it a little bit earlier, and I like to feel like I'm fairly well educated on the choices in automation and the variety of different things. And I can tell you what a neophyte working with you and coming in here and really hearing about all these other technologies and whatever. And that's what I'm tremendously excited about, what we can do. Now I'm involved in some pretty amazing projects that are truly market changing and entrepreneurial. And there's so many different things, and they just got better tonight because of what I've learned. And again, I don't say that lightly. I'm honored to be here. It's a great group. Obviously, we have a lot of fun together and things like that. But the other side of it is just truly understanding when people want to serve the marketplace with the highest level of integrity, with the highest level of quality, and that they can learn to get the tools to accomplish that. And so I'm blessed to know you, really excited to be part of it, to be of service in any way I possibly can, but would love to learn, because you're going to ultimately help us touch even more lives. And that's what's exciting. We're not doing it for us anyway. We're doing it for the next step. So that's really cool.
Thank you so much, Scott. All of you are so amazing. And Brigitta, was it NLPatlanta.com?
Yes, sir. That's what it is. Thank you.
NLPatlanta.com. And Scott, what is your website of choice?
Let's go. Which one do we want to use right now? Let's go AmericasRealDeal.com.
AmericasRealDeal.com.
And off to the comedian of the house, Mr. Kent Emmons.
Before you leave, if I'm the comedian, we're in serious trouble. I got to tell you. Listen, Brian, thanks for having me on. And by the way, Scott, I wanted to follow up on something you said. I thought I didn't know what I didn't know, but I realized this afternoon that I've known it all along. Anyway, it's something to think about.
Love it.
Thank you guys. Brian, thanks for having us on. And by the way, Scott Schilling, one of my great mentors for many, many years. Matter of fact, I pulled so much knowledge out of him one weekend here that he almost died on my show. So I literally.
You had to refill him up with whiskey after the show, right?
That's exactly right.
That's right.
Exactly. But no, I really, Scott, I thank you for so many, years of friendship and actually bringing me into this fold, because Brigitta, a relatively new friend, Jason, a great friend, Brian, an old friend. So, it's always a lot of fun.
Right.
Absolutely. And what would be a good website of the hour for Mr. Kent Emmons?
You know what? Just my name, KentEmmons.com. And there's endless pages of absolute shameless self-promotion right there. Value in it, but a lot of great shameless self-promotion.
But there are a lot of nice things said about Kent all over those pages.
Yeah, there is. And I wrote every word of it. Well, Shilling, you probably wrote part of it, but
Also, don't forget Crave News. You want to keep your eye on that. Remember,
yes.
Real news, no bullshit, and that's the kind of stuff we need to be looking for. And when it's available, people want to be alerted to it. So
yeah, Jason's only saying that because he knows he's going to be on there a lot.
I'm hoping so. That's the idea. Yeah, I think it's I'm excited about the opportunity of not only as a potential of being on the show, but also just from. I can't tell you how much I just want real news and no bullshit in my life. It's definitely needed. So I think it's great. So
Jason, I appreciate that. And you know what? Listen, right now, most of the news out there tries to, they give you a spin right or left or whatever, and they try to make you feel like a victim. When the reality is you need to know what's going on in the world, but you need to aspire to something. You need to it's got to be aspirational. And I'm not talking cheeseball aspirational. I'm talking about people are looking to, have how to, one, get to know what they need to know in the world, but two, how to make more money, how to improve their life, how to get better love, how to get, how to be healthier, how to look better, So instead of becoming the victim news, which is every news channel out there, this is a lot of fun. It's edgy. So if you're not into edgy, don't tune in. But if you're, aspirational plus learning some cool stuff, tune in.
Have fun with it. Yeah, absolutely. Good deal.
That's the beauty of it being unscripted and uncensored. It's raw, and there's no one, with a, there's no time delay, or maybe you guys will have one in case it gets real.
We will not.
There you go.
Tune in. You never know what Scott Schilling is going to say.
You're not gonna have the little round lady in the back with the glasses in the book, waiting on the delay button, kicking everybody.
We were actually with her today, and we actually gave her no delay. We took the button away.
Oh, good.
She's doing other things that are unspeakable, but not the delay button.
Not the delay button. Good job.
Yeah. Awesome. And Jason Nast, my good buddy, any last parting words for our wonderful audience and for this wonderful group of people on with us?
Well, okay. So I'm Jason Nast. Obviously, my website is powertexting.com. But really what I want to say is because Brian doesn't do enough self-promotion. He is very humble and he's very, very kind of low-key. So I guess my parting shot, my last words are, if you don't know Brian, as everybody in this panel has said, get to know Brian, because he does have this really great software tool called Peak Connector, but really the Peak Connector is Brian Kelly. He's the foundation of all of these connections. He's bringing all of us together. We're helping each other. We're serving each other as a result of this man right here. And that makes a powerful impact on the world, because every one of us is going to bring something very unique. As Brigitta said, we're here to serve. We really are here to serve other people and to make a better environment, a better society, a better world. And we want to serve in our own capacity, to our own strengths. And it's people like Brian Kelly that bring us together to really take that impact, that small impact we may have had, and make it a much bigger impact. So for Brian, I'm going to say, reach out to him, find more information about him, do the search on him, and connect with him, because again, he's the Peak Connector. He's really the foundation of all this.
And none of these panelists were paid in the creation of this program.
Although you did give me a bottle of great whiskey a couple of months ago, so I was sort of compromised by that.
That was
He took me out for a steak dinner once and then ordered fish too, but that's another story altogether.
Hey, it was a fish steak.
Yeah, something like that.
All right. Well, all thanks so much for coming on. We went a little bit over, but I'm okay with that because we're not in some kind of radio network where we have to actually cut it off at a certain point. That's what I love about this. And it's all about quality, not just in live shows, but in the people that you hang out with. And I have 4 of the best right now. The 5th dropped off. Anthony, thank you so much for taking time out of your Thursday night football to join us. And that's it for this edition of the Mind Body Business Show. This is the first time I've done this format. I love it. I think we need to do this more often.
Yes.
Get some more powerful people like you involved and just go around the horn and sing your praises of me. I love it. I'm kidding. All right. With that, hang on for just a little bit. I'll have you guess a little bit after this little animation goes and I cut the show, and we'll just do a quick debrief. And for everyone else, appreciate you coming on. Love you and can't wait to bring you into another edition of the Mind Body Business Show with beautiful, amazing people like we have right now.
Thanks,
For
Brian.
all involved, this is Brian Kelly saying good night for now. Be blessed. God bless.
Good night.
Thank you for watching and listening. This has been the Mind Body Business Show with Brian Kelly.